Well, hey there, this is Kim Constable. Welcome to the Strong and Sculpted podcast, the podcast by me, Kim Constable, aka the Sculpted Vegan, about all things strong and, of course, all things sculpted. Now, as the coronavirus continues to rage around the world, the global pandemic that it is, I wanted to bring you another very special episode today to give you some more tools to keep you grounded, to keep you in a good frame of mind, to keep you positive, and also just to perhaps shift your perspective a little bit on what is happening. So first, just let me tell you about today's guest and how I got to know her. So today I'm going to be interviewing a very special woman called Rose Henry. Now, Rose is originally from South Africa, now living in Northern Ireland in a little place called Carrickfergus. And Rose was first discovered by my mother, who discovers all wonderful things in this world and then shares them with the entire family. So my mum, she met Rose. I'm not exactly sure where she met her, but as soon as she had been to Rose for, I think she went to her for a Reiki session or a healing session, she absolutely and utterly loved her. And of course, then whenever someone in our family loves something, they spread it all around the family. So then mum was, of course, getting my sisters to go, and she was saying, you have to go see Rose, you have to go see Rose, you have to go see Rose. And she kept like going on and on and on about it. And eventually I said, oh, for God's sake, okay. Well, I said, well, I can't go to her, I don't have enough time, but if she'll come to me, I'll see her. So it was quite funny. She came one day and I said to her, like, your mum's like, she'll do your tarot cards or she'll do readings. And I was like, I'm not into all that shit, like truly, I'm really not a spiritual person. I mean, I am and I'm not. Depends on what you mean by spiritual, right? I really, truly don't believe in angels. I have to be honest. It's not that I don't believe in them. It's that I don't really place any importance on them, if you like, because I'm kind of just more about what I can see, what I can feel, what I can touch. I do believe that energy exists in the world. I do believe, in energetic magnetic fields. I do believe in physics. But, when it comes to, hard work and, just putting your faith in things and showing up and putting forth an effort and getting a result, that's kind of much more important to me than trusting in the universe or, asking my angels or whatever. That's just who I am. Okay. So that's what I just want to preface this whole episode by saying, that truly I am not the kind of person who really is into that. And then Rose came to my house to do a reading with me, and she came in, she sat down at my desk in the office, and I sat down with her, and I was of course like a little resistant, because the only reason why I was seeing Rose was because my mum forced me to go, even at 40 years of age. I feel obligated to please my mother. Like, what is up with that shit? But so I'm sitting there, and Rose said to me, so she said, the first thing she said to me was, now, are you sure you're happy to have a reading today? Because I sense a little resistance. And I was like, oh, fuck me, like, call it out, why don't you? And I loved her from the minute she said that. And I was like, yeah, I have to be honest, like, I am a little resistant. I said, but, only because my mum has like forced me to come here. But I'm happy to, I said, I'm open to new things. I'm open to exploring and hearing and whatever. And, I'm happy to be here. Truly I am. I wouldn't be here if I didn't want to be. So she said, okay. She said, well, first of all, let me tell you something. I'm not a fortune teller, and I'm not going to tell your fortune, and I'm not going to like tell you about the future and all this kind of crap. And I was like, oh, okay. I really like you. Even more now. She said, I'm not spiritual. She goes, I don't, or not spiritual. She said, I'm not religious in any way. And she said, whatever your beliefs are your beliefs. I just want to preface this by saying, I'm not telling your fortune. She goes, I just ask you to choose cards and I interpret the cards with what I'm guided to say. She said, so if you're happy for that to happen, then, let's go ahead. I said, okay, perfect. Love it. So Rose then, she started to, she spread out her cards and I chose, and she started to read my cards, and she was absolutely and utterly, shockingly accurate. I mean, she knew nothing about me. She was shockingly accurate with what she was reading. She was able to tell me stuff about the business, about my relationship, about my kids, about, something that was happening to a friend of mine that I wasn't even aware of. And then whenever I contacted this friend, I found out that she had breast cancer, and I didn't even know. Rose was able to tell me that. So these things that she was able to tell me, I was just absolutely blown away. I was like, how on earth could she know that? And then, everyone in my family goes to see Rose. Rose has predicted, right? Now, like I said, she says says she doesn't tell the future, but Rose has, she hasn't predicted, like she's read the cards, she's interpreted the cards, and she has interpreted so many things that are accurate, that have come true in our family. I mean, like even so far as, my sister's father-in-law getting sick, right? She was able to tell my mom that in a certain month of the year, she was going to go through something very, very difficult. The difficulty was going to peak in a certain month, and then it was going to get better. My mom discovered in that exact month that Rosa predicted that she had a leaky valve in her heart. She had to go for open heart surgery in April, and then she did continue to get better. She was able to predict things that would happen in my business. She was able to predict really difficult months that then turned into very profitable months. The stuff that this woman is able to bring to the table is just absolutely phenomenal. And so Rose is someone that I use as a tool. Okay, so I have different things that I would use as tools, I call them. So I have a business coach. I have a life coach who would, coach me on personal issues. I have someone who coaches me in business. I have, Rose, who is, I would call her my spiritual guru. She's like my spiritual guide. So whenever I feel, whenever my mind feels turbulent, or I'm not sure about, how to make a decision, or I'm feeling fearful, sometimes I go to Rose for an energy clearing session. And I don't know whether it's just that I'm lying on her table, on her bed, in her treatment room, her healing room, and she's leading me through a guided meditation, and there's the incense and the healing, the singing bowls and all that. I don't know whether or not it's because of that I always feel better, or whether Rose is just really such an incredible healer that I feel better, or whether it is really that she moves energy in my body and that's why I feel better. I don't know what it is. I just know that whenever I'm feeling a little off balance or out of sorts or not grounded, when I go to Rose, I feel better. And so I invited Rose on the podcast today because I was driving home from the office last week. I think it was on Tuesday, and it was whenever all the shit had really hit the fan. We realized that the launch that we were in the middle of was not going to bring in the revenue that we had predicted. We realized we were losing a lot of money. The business was in a precarious position. I was concerned that I was going to have to lay off staff. And so I was, but even while all this was going on, my main concern, weirdly, was for you guys, was for my community, was for my people, my members. And as I was driving home, I was thinking, I guess that because I'm a very centered person, I'm a person who's very, very grounded and very centered. It takes an awful lot to knock me off balance. So if I'm worried or concerned or upset about something, I really feel like the world is coming to an end, because it really doesn't happen with me. I'm not a fearful person at all. And so whenever I was feeling fearful, I was just imagining, I was like, oh my God, this is what the rest of the world must be feeling like. They must be feeling this way as well. How can I help them? What tools do I have? What people do I have? What knowledge do I have? How can I help them? This is why I've been doing all these podcast interviews, putting out extra podcasts, extra training, extra home programs, all of those different things. And so I was driving home and I just picked up the phone and I called Rose, and she answered. She was like, hello, you, how are you? And I said, Rose, I think we need to do like a podcast interview or a live or a workshop together. She was like, yeah, no problem, whatever you need. And I said, okay, the world needs your energy right now, and I want to bring them your energy. I said, maybe we can do a guided meditation, or maybe we can do something extraordinary, for my members, and I can bring that to them, and you can bring them your wisdom, your guidance, your beautiful grounded energy, and and we can really make something come together. So she said, no problem, you tell me when and I will be there. So I invited Rose to come on this podcast today, and we're going to talk about why the world is in the state that it's in, Rose's opinion, which I know is just going to be beautiful. We're going to talk about what you can do to stay grounded, to stay centered, to have focus, and to continue to move forward in this very uncertain and very turbulent time. And Rose is actually going to lead us through a guided meditation as well. So if you're feeling a little out of sorts, or you're feeling that you really could just do with some self-love right now, then you are just going to love what she's going to do with you and for you. So I'm going to go to Rose in just a second. But before I go to Rose, what I would like to say, or what I would like to invite you to do, is to leave a review on this podcast. So if you leave a review on this podcast, whether it's on iTunes or Stitcher or Spotify or wherever it is that you listen to it, and then send me a picture of the review as a direct message on Instagram. My Instagram is thesculptedvegan. If you send me a direct message there of your review, every month we choose one winner who's written a review to win a Sculpt and Shred program. That's our $1,500 signature Sculpt and Shred program. And we choose the winner every month, and then we announce the winner at the start of the next month. You can leave 4 reviews a month, so you can leave a review on every single podcast. You can leave more than that if we have more podcasts, but make sure you leave that review, and you could be chosen to win a Sculpt and Shred program. And if you already have the Sculpt and Shred program, you can choose another program instead. So let's go and chat to Rose now, and I will speak to you guys again at the end. Rose, thank you so much for being here today. I have wanted to have you on this podcast for so long, and I can't believe it took a crisis for it to finally happen.
I'm so happy to be here with you all, and thank you so much for inviting me. And I can't wait to actually just share a little bit of information about breath. So yeah, thank you so much.
No, it's wonderful. And honestly, Rose, whenever, I was driving home last week after the whole, pandemic really hit the fan, if you like, I was just driving and I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to call Rose. Actually, as you know, I just picked up the phone and called you because I just thought, no, my main thought through all of this has been, how can I help? How can I help? How can I help? How can I use my skill set? Who do I know? Who do I know in homeschooling? Who do I know in, well, obviously I homeschool as well, but where are the gurus? Who are the people that can help my people? What is it that my people need? They're suffering, they're upset, they're fearful. What are the tools that I use in my life to advance myself and, business and in my fitness or spiritually or physically, mentally, whatever. Like, what are the tools that I use? Who are the people that help me? And how can I bring these people to my people to help them? Which is really why I wanted to have you on here today, like I said, because you are one of the most, and for those of you who don't know, you probably haven't heard me say this, actually, just very quickly, my sisters and I, like everyone in my family comes to see Rose. And that's what happens in my family. When one person discovers something that they love, we're like dominoes, then we all go. And my sisters always say, my sister Carrie always goes, I just love being around Rose. I just love being with Rose. She just makes me feel just so content and at peace. And I know you're going to talk about a little bit about why that is today, about, obviously being around other people's grounded energies. But what I would really love more than anything, Rose, is for you to, and I'm going to let you talk a lot here rather than me dominating the conversation, which is what I normally do in these podcasts. But I really want you I would love for you to help my listeners to feel better, I guess, to feel less fearful, to, give maybe some strategies or some tips or some tools or something that we can use to help us be more grounded and to get through this really fearful time. So what are your thoughts on what's happening at the minute anyway? I'd love to hear your take on it.
Yeah, so I am a great believer in mind, body, and soul. And so I believe that at the end of the day, yes, if you're not stressed about what's happening, then that is already a little bit crazy. But if you are feeling really anxious, really stressed, then own your stress. At the end of the day, we are given these lessons. I see them as lessons, and maybe it isn't very easy to go through what we're going through at the moment. But if we can find our true balance, if we can get our mind, body, and soul totally integrated, so that the last hour can't affect us, the next hour can't affect us, we can stand in true balance. We can move through this pandemic with a feeling of our heart is connecting to our soul, is connecting to our physical. We are exercising our mind, our body, and our world. And we are connecting this energy. And today is about using real logical breath to heal the earth. And we are all, if you think of the universal body of the earth, we are all beautiful cells that run through the stream of the universal flow. And not to go deep into this, but at the end of the day, we all play a part. And there's a lot of people with stress at the moment. A lot of my clients, I do a lot of coaching, and a lot of my clients are going through where they have their own businesses, where they're having to shut down, where it's pandemonium. And so don't get stuck in that last moment. Don't get stuck in yesterday. Use your logical breath. You were given 2 gifts at your birth. You were given free will to choose to breathe, and you were given your breath. And so today I'd really like us to focus in. I'd love to do a meditation for everyone that's listening to help them cope, but I'd like to give them a very practical lesson as well. logical meditation, I call it, where it doesn't matter if you're going to the grocery store, to the pharmacy, if you have to go to work, you're an essential service. It's almost as though I'm asking you at each traffic light, at each stop sign, if you're taking your dog for a walk and you're keeping your social distancing, can you just, in that breath, breathe the gift you were given? Breathe from the pelvis to the tummy, to the heart, to the throat, to the mind. And as you're breathing this lovely deep breath that you are given at your birth, I'm going to ask you to think about the last 2 hours and pull out the stress that you have really gone through, that you are going through. Is it a financial worry that you're starting to think, I've got my mortgage to pay? Is it that your car payment's due? Do you know something? The banks, the governments, the world is in crisis. It is not you alone. You cannot expect to bear these feelings of, what am I going to do? We are all in this together. It is a community. And so with your logical breath, manage, because if you don't manage your breath, you will end up anxious, depressed. You will end up in a state of turmoil. You will take it into your house, into your car. You will give it to your animals, your children. So start to use your logical breath. And that's the first tool I want to give to you.
Can you explain a little bit more? Well, first of all, what I didn't do in the beginning, which is what I would love you to do, even just talking to you makes me feel relaxed. What I would love for you to do is, can you just tell us, first of all, a little bit more about yourself, Rose? Like, how did you get into what it is that you're doing now?
Yes. So I am not religious. So first of all, let me get that out there. I am a very spiritual person that works with the idea of energy. I see us all, and I know it sounds quite weird, but I just see us all as beautiful, unique pieces of a kaleidoscope that makes a universal body for the universal manager, which is God, or if you don't believe, the universal manager. So from a young age, I connected, and I am going to let you know a little bit about this, because I did connect to energies that might not have been physical energies. There might have been energies that passed, and I thought everybody could connect. And it was only when I was 11 and I switched it off, I realized at 11 that maybe not everybody was considering energy the way I was.
Right.
So when I was 29, it was almost like a switch was flicked, and I got switched back on. But I was very into the corporate world. I come from computer networking. I was a network engineer. And after I would do my day's work, which I thought I had to do because my spiritual thing was just a hobby in my head, I never thought I could do it as a job. What happened was, as I finished or completed my day's work, it was amazing because I would do readings for people. I love doing angel and soul and looking at your past lifetimes. And I would pick up energy from people, and I would try to bring compassion, understanding, meditation into their lives. Because when you don't have a balance in your physical and in your spiritual, life can become very up and down. And it's very difficult to get into a balanced state of mind if the mind, body, soul isn't connected. So from 29 until 46, I actually did 2 jobs. I worked corporate and then I worked in spiritual. And at 46, I was in Australia, and I decided this is not serving me. The corporate is not serving me anymore. And I actually left Australia, and my husband said, where do you want to be in the world? And of course, Ireland is my home, Northern Ireland. And I just said, I want to move to Carrickfergus. And so 10 years ago, I started to trust, to release unto my soul totally. And it's so funny because I've always had this energy idea, and I've always promoted it to people. And there's a lot of people that come to me for readings and healings, and I do distant healing, and I work on the internet. And it's not about the people. Like, I don't see anybody as a person. I see you as a beautiful piece of energy trying to put a story together that makes sense for your lessons in this lifetime. And so the meditation that I do, and I really believe in using meditation as a tool, is to bring you back to your essence. So if you're a perfume bottle and you love a brand of perfume, and you have that brand and you buy it because you love it. Your soul loves you so much that it creates you in its own essence. You become the perfume bottle of your soul. But imagine that you dilute the perfume when you have people around you that don't quite understand you, or you have financial worries, or you have the worries of the children being looked after because you've got six months off now, they're talking about. So imagine those pure essences that you think you are being diluted by other people putting on top of your shoulders, putting energy where your energy should be. So I believe that today, if we can look at keeping your energy pure, keeping your essence, having a conversation with your soul when you meditate. Meditation is about connecting mind, body, and soul. It's about keeping you physically fit, keeping you spiritually fit in your mind, that your mind talks to your heart and your emotions. Your emotions help you to get the balance that you're looking for. So that's just a little bit about me. I absolutely love people. I would do anything for anybody. I believe in compassion. I don't believe in judging anyone. At the end of the day, I want to say to people, how dare you? You don't walk in my shoes. How dare you? And it's not me being crash or ego. It's me saying everybody is lovable and everybody is love. And if we could get that message, we could relax. We could not think of, remember, banks and big companies have gone financially into bad situations because they also couldn't manage. So if you're one person going through stress because your business is affected by this pandemic, the wheel turns. In the next 6 to 10 months, this will be lessons that we will learn, not at the moment, but in the next 10 months, your wheel will turn and you will come through this and you will have the support of the government, of the banks, as long as you keep in your balance.
I want to ask you about that, Rose. I want to get your unique perspective on, and feel free just to be really candid. What are your thoughts on why this has happened? The deeper reason, not the physical of, oh, we've all done this, or we spent too much, or we didn't take care of ourselves and we didn't social distance. But what do you believe? Why do you believe this has happened, and what do you believe the lessons are that we can learn from it?
So I spiritually believe, and this is my belief, and I don't
just be candid, just put it out there. Yes, we want to know.
Is that our heart holds your 4 seasons of your life. It holds spring, winter, summer, and autumn. And when Mother Earth has been receiving all of our energies that we've been putting out, in the last 40 years, our Earth has grown at such a pace that I think that the actual Earth itself cannot cope. And so what has the Earth done? The Earth in my head has taken a holiday and has said, if you're not going to pay attention to what I've been trying to show you, then can I ask you, press pause. You can all scurry around like rabbits. Let's find where we need to be and let us rejuvenate. And the Earth needs 1 season, not a year. It needs a season for it to start to come back to its axis, for it to start to realize or make us realize how important it is to protect the Earth itself. And if there's 4 chambers of the heart, and if we're going into winter, so, think of a child. When a child is born, it's springtime. And then it goes into summer when we have beautiful romances and we grow up a bit and we have our children. And then we go into autumn when we get a bit older and things are quieting down and we're moving towards our pension. And then we go into winter when we start to shut down and we move back to our soul energy and we are reborn again. I believe in past life regression. And so what if Mother Earth is going into the phase of winter? What if it's gone through the summer and it's gone through the autumn and now it's saying, I need to hibernate. I need to do something that makes people aware or pay attention. The Earth will repair itself. I believe that the Earth repairs itself, but the world will repair itself because it's not happening to one person.
Right.
It is happening to the world's community.
Right.
Whether you're in Russia or China, whether you're in South Africa or in the UK or Europe, at the end of the day, community spirit. There's people dancing in the street. There's policemen singing in Spain to the residents, and there's Italy singing at 6:00. The earth is teaching us we are a community. Forget money, forget work. I know it sounds very loud and very like, what are you saying? Not forever, maybe for the next 4 weeks.
It actually makes me, whenever you were talking about the policemen in the streets and people singing, dancing,
Yes.
like it's what I've been focusing on. It actually makes me really emotional. I started to well up whenever you said it there, because it's so true. It's, one of my highest values is connection. I was actually talking last night to someone who was considering, and she did, and end up joining the 18-month Sculpt and Shred program that we were in the middle of a launch of that program whenever the whole pandemic hit. And I was so scared for my business. And I am still, we invested about £100,000 in Facebook ads. And this is my main revenue builder for the entire year. So this is how we bring recurring revenue into the business. And of course, it wasn't anywhere near what we thought it was going to be. So it leaves my business in a precarious position. But I was chatting to this woman last night on the phone, and we were having this deep connection, between each other. Normally I would never do the calls whenever people want to have a call back just to chat through their decision to join the program. And I was sitting on the sofa in the kitchen. I had this moment of just like, this is really what it's about, this deep connection. This is what we've been missing. It's my highest value. It's what I always want to promote. And she said to me, it's because you're Irish. She said, I've never met nicer people than the Irish. And I was like, are you serious? She said, there's no fake niceness with you guys. There's genuine warmth. You would invite us into your home. She said, anytime I traveled in Ireland, I was blown away by just how giving and generous the Irish spirit is, and that made me feel so good. But I think what you're saying is so true. I think we've become so disconnected from each other in so many ways that we, and seeing each other, technology is wonderful, but it's enabled us to really just see each other as, all of the hate that goes on. Like, I get it on my Facebook ads, on my page, people just internet trolls. We don't see people as human beings anymore. We were seeing them as little emoji behind a computer screen. And I think what's happening is we're seeing each other as human again, which creates and suffering creates, they always say that whoever has had the most pain in their life has the deepest empathy, and I think that the more pain you go through, the more empathy you have. And I think we were reaching a point where we had lost empathy for each other.
Yeah.
And because we had lost our struggle, and human beings are designed, we're put in this earth to struggle, to create value, to build value, to have adversity, natural adversity in our lives, to struggle. And then that struggle creates, adversity, which creates empathy, which creates the human spirit. And I think that was just becoming so lost.
Yes, I agree. Absolutely agree. And yes, this is very tragic what's happening. Businesses having to really look at their bottom line, but we will get through it.
We will.
We are a community. Mm-hmm. We will get through it. Your business will thrive. If you start to hold fear because 6 months of a wait before you can kick off again, whoever's business, my business, I usually have people sitting here in my chair and there's nobody coming through because it's social distancing. I respect that. But I know that when I'm doing my meditations, I'm cocooning myself in Mother Earth. I'm cocooning the people in the earth, in the communities. I'm calling to the earth and saying, we get it. We've learned our lesson. We get it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Or we're in the process of learning it.
Yes. The earth is teaching us. The earth is made up of 69% water and 21% land. Our body is made up of 21% bones and muscles and cells and 69% water, emotions.
Yeah.
When we close our emotions, we go to anxiety.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I saw a beautiful meme the other day and I put it on my Instagram story and it said, if you can't do anything to help yourself, do something to help others. And, and just what you're saying is so true. And it's a message that I really want to put out there before we get into your meditation. And I do want to ask you a few more questions before we do that. Yes. But I really just want to get into, or really want to bring that forward, is that's something that I find myself naturally doing. Last week I didn't sleep. I was terrified for my staff. I found myself and I'm not a fearful person, but I find myself, just unable to bring, not unable to, but just my balance was off and I had to keep bringing myself back and grounding myself. But what I asked was, immediately I found myself in crisis. The first thing I did was ask myself, What can I do for my community? What skills do I have? My business is still going. I'm still employing people. But if we're going to go down, we're going to go down playing the violin, like the Titanic. I was like, what can I do? What skill set do my people have that I can use to help other people? We're doing live cooking demos. We're doing, I've been doing podcasts. I've been pulling in people like you. Who do I know that has a skill that can help my community right now? And even doing that is such a beautiful process. It makes you feel so good, even amongst all of the anxiety and the stress of the situation. Truly, when you reach out to other human beings and you offer something and you offer your service, it transforms everything.
Absolutely. And I've been listening to a lot of your talks that you hold on Instagram. And it's so nice to have somebody who's real and somebody who just says it as it is and who makes you think about your choices and why you're choosing to panic. Let's choose to get stronger. Let's choose to see where are we headed. What's your destination? If you haven't got a destination, you'll find yourself running in circles, in panic circles, and it rubs off on your family and your friends and your children.
It does.
So absolutely. And you are a great motivator. And there's a lot of people on this planet trying to motivate. But I'll tell you what, we are being taught a lesson from Mother Earth. And I get it. I totally get it.
I really want to know about, you were talking about the breath earlier, and it was about, what was the word you used? It wasn't intentional breath. It was
logical.
Logical breath. What is logical breath?
So logical breath is when you decide that you will not be kept prisoner to your last moment. You will not be kept accountable for what happened 2 hours ago, an hour ago, or even when you walked out of the house and there's a lot of tempers going on and people aren't listening and, arguments can happen. And so you take the dog for a walk and you use logical breath to bring you back to your balance. Now, to use your logical breath, normal people, should I say the rat
regular
race.
People.
Yeah, the rat race should, usually takes 2 breaths, a breath of 2, goes from the throat to the mind, the throat to the mind. So when we panic, we lose even the throat and the mind shuts down and it feels like a panic attack because we're not breathing.
Right.
So I would love for people, and I teach a lot of people this that come through for healing, to start to think of their breath. When they were a baby, what did they do? They were born and they were illuminated like a light bulb to their family. They switched on. As they were switched on, what did they do? They took the deep breath of life and they belched and screamed. And I mean, in the olden days, the doctors would make sure they had a good old scream to bring that diaphragm all the way up to be heard. And we have forgotten to breathe. We have become a non-breathing nation.
I agree.
We run, we panic, we have depression, and we don't breathe. So logically, and it does make sense, you don't have to be lying down for half an hour, although that's pretty nice if you've got the time. And some people will have the time, so maybe spoil yourself in the next few weeks. Rather than stressing for half an hour, lie down and do a lovely meditation. But logically, when you're walking, when you're driving, and you're stopping at the traffic lights, if you stop 10 times a day, you have 20 minutes to logically release what you've been holding on to from the past 2 hours. You get into a habit. After 7 days, it becomes habit. So now I've had an argument with mum and I don't see eye to eye. I love my mum, but sometimes, have an argument and put the phone down, feel all frustrated, take Suki for a walk. And as I'm walking, send mum so much love and send her this green healing energy and breathe her up, breathe that argument up. She's allowed to have her opinion. I'm allowed to have my opinion. I release it.
Right.
And bring back the balance.
It's beautiful. Do you know, I want to tell you a story about that actually. Years ago, I'm a yoga teacher and was a yoga teacher long before I was a bodybuilder. And in yoga, one of the things that we teach is ujjayi breath, which is a diaphragmatic breathing. It's almost like I always used to teach it to people like you were snoring. So you would slightly close off the back of your throat, like you were, if you ever catch yourself snoring, you, and then that's when but before you snort, you actually snore, you have that kind of breath. And so I used to teach it to people in that way. And, but before I was teaching, obviously yoga, I was just practicing yoga, and obviously we would be practicing Ujjayi breath all the way through. And I used to do Ashtanga yoga. So everything moves on the breath. It's inhale to rise up, exhale to fold, inhale, look out, exhale to fold. So everything is done on the inhale and the exhale. And there was one day I was driving home with my kids, I think I was, the two younger boys were at school at the time. They only went for a short while. And I remember picking them up from school, and I had 4 kids at the time, and Jack was very young. Or did I only have 3? I think maybe I only had 3. So I only had the 3, actually the 2 boys and Maya. And Maya was a baby, and she was strapped into her car seat. And the 2 boys were strapped into their car seats on either side, because I had 3 under the age of 4. And so, so I'm driving along, and Maya, I think one of the boys started, he wanted to do something or whatever. And he started to have like a really immature emotion, and he started to like cry really, really loudly. He was trying to get out of his car seat, and I was going, no, and so then of course he triggered the other one, and then they started to fight about something. And then Maya, she was only 9 months, and she like, and she started to wheel as well. So I'm driving along on like the motorway, on the highway, right? And can't pull in because there's nowhere to pull in my car. And these kids are like screaming in the background. And I was like, shh, it's okay. It's like trying to, it's leaning in the back. It's okay. It's, driving. Shh, it's all right. It's all right. And then suddenly I realized there's nothing I can do. Nothing. I'm driving. They're screaming. They're strapped into their car seats. They can't get out. There's nothing I can do. And so I had this moment of there's nothing I can do. And I just turned back to the front of the car. And after about maybe 30 seconds, I realized I was Ujjayi breathing. I didn't consciously switch into it, but I was.
Breath alone.
And then I had this epiphany moment of, oh my God, because of practicing yoga, I'm putting myself in stressful situations. I mean, not stressful situations, but pain. You're in a yoga pose, and it's, and it's hard when you're in there and you want to move out of it. But what you're taught is, rather than indulging your need to move out of it, breathe into the difficulty. And so, what I realized was this stressful situation had triggered my body's automatic response. So like a stimulus response pattern. So it's like a Pavlovian link. So the stressful situation had triggered my body's Pavlovian response, which was to move into the parasympathetic mode of rest and digest. And so a stressful situation had triggered this. And that's when I was suddenly like, when you have these epiphany moments of, holy shit, this is the power of the breath. I was like, and I breathed the whole way home. The kids calmed down. By the time we got home, they'd stopped crying. We got them out of the car, and it was gone. And I had a choice in that moment. Like, I could have freaked out and hyperventilated, or my body had switched into this mode of the breath. And I think that it's really important to understand that, the body has 2 different modes of operation. There's the sympathetic mode, which is responsible for fight or flight. There's the parasympathetic mode, which is responsible for rest and digest. Most of us spend our time in the sympathetic mode of fight or flight because our adrenals are firing all the time. We're constantly triggered. We're rushing around. We're getting the kids to school. We're going to work. We're rushing back and forth to our coffee break. We're rushing home. We're making dinner. We're rushing out to our yoga class. We're not taking time to breathe, to just relax and breathe and access that parasympathetic mode, which is where your body gets nourished, which is where your immune system stays strong, which is where you get to access that state of, even if you think about it, rest and digest, for your body to be able to send energy into assimilating nutrients from your food and digesting your food and having just the circadian rhythm or the cycles of the body moving efficiently. You need to access that parasympathetic mode. And I think that really teaching the breath in the way you do is such an important way to have people access that, to protect their immune system, which is so, I saw a thing today which said the healthcare system will not protect you, your immune system will.
Yes.
I think that it's just so important. This work that you're doing is so important. And I'm excited to get to learning some real strategies. Are you going to be able to do like a meditation with us now, or some kind of system where people, wherever they're listening to this, they can just get comfortable, they can come back to this. I think what else we'll do is this portion that we're going to do now, I will take this portion individually and make it into an individual podcast so that when it starts and finishes, it's literally just a meditation. So they don't have to listen to us talking every time. They can just, download this as well. So I'm going to pass it over to you to guide it through. But what I want to say before we start is, if you're listening to this, if you're driving or walking or sitting or whatever, you can just listen to it and not participate right now. Or you can just choose now to maybe press pause on this podcast, get yourself comfortable and take a moment just to work through this with Rose and I. So completely up to you how you do it. But I'm excited for what's going to come, because I've experienced Rose's meditations many times, I can tell you, in times of stress, and they are absolutely and utterly spectacular. So Rose, I'm gonna leave it all up to you now to just kind of take it away, but I'm gonna sit here and do it as well.
Yeah, that's perfect. So I'm going to ask everybody, if you want to press pause, then do that. I'm just going to ask everybody else to get into a lovely, comfortable position. Make sure nothing is crossed, your fingers, your feet, your legs. Make sure you're sitting really comfortably. You could be lying on the floor. If you're comfortable on your carpet, you could be lying on your couch. And if you've never meditated before, because like I say, a lot of us are runners and we don't take time out. Why don't you give yourself permission? So when your thoughts flood your mind, when you're trying to listen to these words, just accept the thought. I'll feed the dog later. I'll go and jump in the car and get the medicine later, whatever it is you need to do. And when you accept the thought with the idea, I'll come back to you after this. So remember, the thought will always try and invade your presence. It'll try and jump into your mind if you're not used to meditation. So don't panic. There's not a right way or wrong way. Do it your way. So let's start. So I'm going to ask everybody to maybe gently close your eyes. And as you close your eyes, I'm going to ask you to just take 3 lovely deep breaths. When I say deep breath, from the pelvis to the tummy, to the heart, to the throat, to the mind. It's the count of 5. Pelvis, tummy, heart, throat, mind. And as you start to take these lovely deep breaths, you set your intention to just relax. Imagine this breath as you breathe up, and as you take it up into your mind, you allow it to be released into the sky above you, the blue, blue sky that sits in your mind. This is the gift of breath. And as you start to feel more comfortable, I'm going to ask you, you almost imagine yourself seated in a beautiful green meadow, the meadow of Mother Earth. Remember that lovely, lush green grass beneath your open feet, your open toes. And you're just walking or sitting in that beautiful meadow, breathing the breath of 5. Pelvis, tummy, heart, throat, mind. The sun is on your face. The sky above you is protecting you. And Mother Earth beneath your feet. Her roots come through your toes and really bring you back to Mother Earth, grounding you and giving you a feeling of feeling very secure in this space. You see the birds above you, and your heart is open, and you breathe your breath of 5. And as this beautiful golden sunshine is above you, I'm going to ask you, as you breathe with me, to keep that breath above your head, a beautiful golden crown of sunshine. So it's your pelvis, your tummy, your heart, your throat, and your mind. And then you go one further and breathe right up above the top of your head. Can you feel that beautiful Catherine wheel, that golden Catherine wheel of sunshine spinning? Breathe deep and receive warmth as it spins this golden sunshine into your breath. Your pelvis, your tummy, your heart, your throat, your mind, and your crown chakra. Beautiful golden Catherine wheel above your head. And you gently allow that thread of golden sunshine to make its way down into your mind. Your mind that holds all these locked doors, the passageway of your life. And you fill this beautiful mind with this golden energy. Its sunshine, its warmth. You fill your mind You release all those locks on those doors, and you bring yourself to a feeling of relaxed, open, content energy. And it flows through your brain, through your skull, through the bones, the muscles, through your forehead, down even through your nose, down into your cheeks, and even into your lips and your tongue and your chin. Beautiful, glorious, golden sunshine. Can you feel it relaxing you? Your heart is open and you feel your heart beating, a constant reminder of the circulation of what you no longer need to hold. And as you breathe up to that golden sunshine, each breath you release the mind blocks from your mind. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And for the first time in a while, your mind feels comfortable. No stress, no worry, just pure comfort. And you take that golden thread and you release it a little bit, like it's almost this very fine thread that goes down from your mind, and it connects to your throat. And it relaxes all the words that are stuck in your throat, all the words unspoken, the words. Remember, words hold you, but they don't belong to you. They belong to the universe. You release those words and you allow this Catherine wheel of golden sunshine to let go and release all these unspoken words. Your throat muscles relax. Your ears relax. Even the back of your spine relaxes as you send this golden sunshine the length of your spine. It moves from your throat to the back of your neck, and it's almost like a golden feather has touched each of your vertebrae and your spine at the back, and you're receiving pure sunshine energy. It's releasing all the pains, all the worries, any pain that's stuck in your bones, your muscles, your cells. It circulates it into sunshine. You breathe deeply. Can you feel the sunshine starting to circulate? You move it into your tummy. You release the knots in your tummy. Just let them go. They can't hold you. You cannot be a prisoner to those emotions anymore. You fill your tummy with this golden Catherine wheel of sunshine energy, and you bring it up and you allow it to move through your heart. The 4 chambers of your heart: earth, wind, fire, and water. And your heart is the earth that grounds you, the fire that gives you passion to move forward each day, the water to cry when you feel overwhelmed, and the wind to go through changes that we are currently going through. You give your heart permission to circulate this golden sunshine energy. Every part of your mind, your throat, your spine, your tummy, and your heart is circulating a comfortable breath. And you now bring that breath to the bottom of your spine, into your hips. Can you feel the muscles relax? Left to right, front to back. Your passionate center, where you feel sometimes emotional about things happening. Fill that beautiful space, your pelvic area moving down your legs and into your knees and into your feet. Fill it with beautiful golden energy. Can you feel your knees feel more relaxed? Can you even feel your toes relaxing? You're still sitting in your meadow. You're just allowing the sunshine to create a bond to Mother Earth. And as you feel your feet connecting to the warmth of the golden energy, you invite Mother Earth to receive this golden sunshine energy, and she connects to your physical, and she connects to your spiritual, and she really connects you to having an understanding that in this breath you are fine, you are perfect, and you are ready to just connect. Feel that wonderful embrace from the sun above your head to the grass beneath your feet. And breathe deeply. And as we now start to bring that beautiful golden energy, and you bring it up from your toes, and it moves through your calves, and it moves through your knees. Just bring it gently up with your breath. It moves through your hips, and as it gently moves up through your tummy and into your heart, you realize how important it is for you to give yourself this gift that costs nothing but brings you to your spiritual self. Your heart links to your throat, and your throat moves that golden energy all the way up to your forehead, relaxing even the muscles in your forehead. And as you gently move that golden thread up through the mind, you feel that sunshine going through all those spaces of your mind, and you allow it to just circulate a comfortable, warm energy. Your mind is relaxed, balanced, and open. And then finally you allow that thread to be pulled back up to the Catherine wheel, the golden Catherine wheel of energy above your head, your spiritual connection to the universe. The universe has you. It has you in its hands. You can come and sit in this meadow at any time. You can breathe deep breaths. You can feel your feet connect to the roots of Mother Earth. And you can feel really warm in your own energy. And you take 3 lovely deep breaths. And as you do this, you slowly bring yourself back to where you're seated.
Oh my goodness. I was like, do I have to open my eyes? Oh, wow. That was,
Do you know, sometimes we just have to learn to connect, don't we?
That was so beautiful. You've no idea. Thank you so much for that, Rose.
It's a pleasure. Do you know, I just wish that everybody would take that time and realize that they're going to get through any situation. You're going to get through it. And don't put any focus. You have 78,000 thoughts a day, and do not focus those thoughts into panic. Focus them into contentment, sunshine, and that grass you put your feet into. Invite Mother Earth to heal the earth through your energy. If we all do that, we can really bring healing into the earth.
I agree. Your perception shapes your reality. The choices, what you choose to focus on becomes your reality.
Absolutely.
I think this could be,
so I hope you enjoyed that.
Really, really important for people. Could people do this meditation every day? Would you recommend every day?
Absolutely, if you've got the time to do it. If you haven't, logical meditation works just as well, but you're just going to be walking or driving and sitting at each traffic light, so it's not as relaxing.
Yeah, it's just breathing, isn't it? A logical meditation, just really focusing on your breath.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The breath of, and if you really want to get into breathing, you take the breath of 7 because it takes you to the Crown Chakra. And the Crown Chakra is your guide energy. But that's a whole. Do
you know, whenever I was practicing yoga, I can actually make an inhale and an exhale 90 seconds long. So I can inhale for 90 seconds and exhale for 90. People used to be like, how do you do that? You just do it really slowly.
Yeah. But it's amazing because it connects you to your spiritual being.
Phenomenal. I mean, let me tell you, when you're inhaling and exhaling for 90 seconds, you're not focusing on anything else except your breath. So it's beautiful. Yeah. Rose, tell us a little more before we finish about where people can find you. Do you do online? Where's the best place for them to find out more about you or to book in with you if they want to have a private session? Tell us a little.
Yeah. So I am available on Instagram, Tarots by Rose.
Mm-hmm. So, and I'm also available by Rose.
By Rose, yeah. And I'm also, and I put daily motivational, I do recordings. I'm going to be doing a lot of lives in the next 4 weeks. I'm going to try and do 2 to 3 lives a week where I'm going to talk about the soul and what the soul is trying to teach us. Because sometimes we deceive ourselves because we become very physical. And so the next 3 to 4 weeks, I'm going to try, because it was quite lovely. A lot of my clients have said, would I just do the lives while they're home with the kids, because it will motivate them to stay balanced. So I will be doing that on my Facebook and my Instagram. And Facebook, I also have a Facebook page, Tarots by Rose. I do spiritual coaching. So I've created a 6-month coaching program, which is actually being extended because a lot of people are enjoying it. So it's being real, because I'm a very real person.
You are.
But yeah.
And here, can I just preface this by saying, guys, whenever I first had a session with Rose, I was like, I just need to tell you, I'm not really into all this, and I'm not really spiritual, and I don't believe in angels and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, so kind of do your worst, I was like, I'm only here because my mom told me to come. And it was funny. And so just so you know, it's not that I'm not into it. I'm a very grounded, very pragmatic person. But Rose is, whether you are a believer, whether you believe in past lives or angels or spiritual guides or anything, or whether you don't, let me tell you something, you're going to get something from Rose. So
that's what my coaching is about. It's not about, I'm not a qualified counselor, but I am a spiritual coach in terms of keeping you real and creating good habits, because I connect with my people every 2 weeks, so my clients every 2 weeks. So creating good habits creates your thought patterns, which create your destination. And if you don't have a destination, then you really should consider one.
I agree. And so if somebody wanted to book in with you for a private session, is that possible? They can do that online anywhere in the world?
I'm doing all my sessions online at the moment, which works out quite nice. I'm working in America, I'm working in Europe, I'm working in Canada, South Africa.
That's great.
I've been doing a lot of workshops online, so I'm going to be putting out a lot of mindfulness workshops, which I'm very excited about.
So contact you through Instagram or Facebook?
Different modules.
Sorry, contact you through Instagram or Facebook. Absolutely. Is the best way, yeah?
Yes, yeah, perfect. And I believe whoever's meant to be with me will be with me, and I respect that. I'm not in any big hurry. If you're interested, you're welcome to make contact with me. If you don't have those beliefs, that's fine too. Nobody should judge you. Everybody has their own belief system. And as long as it works for you, that's what's most important.
My goal is just always to feel better. I'm just always looking for tools to keep me grounded, because I find when I'm grounded, I achieve my goals better. When I'm grounded, my business succeeds, my family succeeds, my relationships succeed, my training succeeds. When I'm grounded and in the present moment and not fearful, then I'm more successful. And so that's why I have these tools. Like, you are one of my tools that I use, at times when I need it. And just, I have different trainers and coaches and people that I go to. And so, like I said, you just, I think that we can get sometimes stuck in our own belief of, oh no, that that hooky stuff is.
It's quite interesting in any way, isn't it?
Yeah.
To have different,
I agree. Yes,
different
diverse
perspectives. Yeah. And you know that, to have your breath as a tool, it costs you nothing.
You're right.
And it gives you such balance that I've been through trauma and I've been through terrible things, and guess what? I deal with them by staying in the moment. If you can't change what happened a week ago,
no,
why do you want to go and get stuck there?
Right.
I absolutely love people, and anybody's welcome to come visit my site. I put motivational things on every day. Kim has been wonderful, actually. She's taught me a lot in the last year. I didn't even have Instagram before Kim. I'm not a techie.
Well, I haven't really taught you a lot, in fairness. You've just been kind of watching everything that I do and taking that and learning. So that's, which is perfect.
I've been really learning. I mean, I've got my little little Instagram setup and my
Yeah.
lights. And
Well, I always say, look, if you want to learn how to do something, find someone who's done what you want to do and just copy them.
Yes.
Just use what they've done. So it's always been my strategy for everything that I've done. So I think that it's great that you've used it. Rose, this was absolutely phenomenal. Thank you so much for giving your time to me and to all of my followers and my fans. We are deeply appreciative of you. I am deeply appreciative of you and everything that you do and everything that you bring to the world. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Kim, and big hugs to everybody.
Yes, virtual hugs. No, because social distancing. So
I'm sending you so much energy today through this podcast, and I'm sending everybody. I'm a hug bug, so you all get a free hug of energy from me. And remember, work with Mother Earth, because we can cure, or we can get a cure for this pandemic much quicker if you all put your intention to that destination.
Beautiful. Rose, thank you.
Okay, thanks
so
Kim.
much. This was awesome. I'll talk to you soon. Wasn't that absolutely amazing? I feel so grounded and so centered after that meditation. I just love Rose. I love her voice. I love her energy. I feel so taken care of when I'm with her. I feel like everything's going to be okay. I just feel like she has this ability to wrap people energetically, in her arms and just say everything is going to be okay. So I hope that you enjoyed that interview with Rose and the meditation as much as I did. We're actually going to take the meditation and make it into a standalone podcast episode that you can download, so that literally whenever you turn it on, it's just the meditation. You don't have to listen to the interview first. You can just go straight to the meditation. So look for that as a standalone episode. And thank you so much for tuning in today. Don't forget to leave the review on iTunes if you want to win a Sculpt and Shred podcast. No, if you want to win a Sculpt and Shred program, make sure that you leave the review on iTunes or whatever platform you listen to. We're going to be choosing the winner. It's the end of March already, 2020. We're going to be choosing the winner at the start of April. Wherever you are in the world, just try and stay positive, try and stay happy. Know that you are loved, know that you will be taken care of. And as long as you are breathing and as long as you are alive, everything is going to be okay. Nothing is permanent and everything is going to be okay. And thank you so much for tuning in. Your time and your attention and these podcasts and all of the messages that you sent me truly mean so much to me. You have no idea how overwhelmed I've been recently with messages of support, messages of love from you guys. And I hope that you feel that I'm also trying to take care of you and give you all that love and support back, because that's exactly what the world needs right now. So this is Kim Constable. Thank you so much for listening, and I will speak to you all on the next podcast. Bye for now.